Everyone watching this video has experienced heartbreak to some degree, and most men have endured through this heartbreak to become a better and stronger person. But nothing can create a combination of sadness and anger as much as having your partner cheat on you, or when you find out she's secretly been seeing or texting another guy. Whilst cheating is something you cannot prevent, it certainly is something that you can manage, and when you happen to notice the signs early on, you should be able to walk away with ease and protect yourself. In this video, we'll explore 8 of the most common signs you need to look out for that your partner might be straying off the path. Why do women cheat? Before we even consider the signs that women are cheating, we need to understand why women actually choose this path. You see, cheating is not an impulsive decision from women. It often comes quite a while, and when you track the history of a couple, you can clearly see where things went astray and when she made the decision to move on. One of the most common reasons for women cheating is actually the fault of the man. You see, if a man does what he's supposed to do, which means taking the lead and ensuring a woman that she's in a well-established relationship, she'll have absolutely no reason to go out and seek another partner. Keep in mind that intimacy should also be good enough, and this means that if you allow yourself to be out of shape, which directly affects your testosterone and sex drive, you'll be unable to deliver when it matters, and this will disappoint a woman who will seek to find this in another guy. While many of you might now argue that some circumstances might lead to a woman cheating, the biggest cause often stems back to what a man did wrong. And the moment you learn to take accountability for the errors you've made during the relationship, you should be more inclined to see things and spot signs of infidelity. Keep in mind that this video is about long-term relationships and not meaningless flings or being the rebound. You should always make sure that you get to know someone to a level that is comfortable enough that you understand whether or not this person is simply using you. Nowadays, men also need to keep in mind that social media is one of the biggest issues that you have to contend with. You see, women now have direct access to millions of men on these platforms, and whether you like it or not, you're being compared. But this is also where stoicism comes into play, another powerful element that will help prevent women from cheating on you. With all this being said, let's dive into the 8 most common signs that she's cheating on you, or she's about to cheat on you. Number 1, quality and quantity of communication. One of the most common things you'd notice when you start losing the interest of your partner is how they begin to communicate with you. What you'll first see is that the quantity of communication evaporates, which means you'll receive fewer text messages, and she's more likely to leave you on read. But this also transcends into your private life, where she'll simply go about her business, and this means she doesn't care if you come home late or if you have a conversation at the dinner table. In fact, her main goal would be to finish what she's doing with you as soon as possible due to the level of shame she's currently carrying within herself. It doesn't stop here, and whilst she'll become far more silent and seem like she doesn't care about communicating with you, it also affects the quality of the communication. You see, her mind is occupied by something or someone else, and this is what continuously forces her to not put in all the effort she would have often put in when she's talking to you. Conversations that used to keep the two of you up all night or feel comfortable, especially when discussing some of the more intricate relationship matters, will simply cease to exist. In fact, she'll have no obligation to be the woman she was, and she doesn't care about supporting you any further. Stale conversations will often start happening, and this will make it feel as if she doesn't care. The ideal thing to do here is to simply walk away and have a discussion about this. No fights or arguments are needed, and since she doesn't want to do her part, you can just move on. However, many men enter a weak and submissive mindset where they believe she's the only woman on the planet, and this is where things will start to unravel. Any man who's been cheated on will directly tell you that if her mind has already moved on, you'll only be wasting your time, speaking to what is essentially just a brick wall. When you notice this first sign, it's time for you to get your things in order and consider moving on. Number 2, increased anger. Another way to determine if you've lost her attention is to see how she reacts when it comes to anger. You see, in most normal relationships, anger's dealt with cordially, and both parties give each other some space before reconciliation. However, when the moment kicks off, both of you are more likely to check your words, due to understanding that one minor fight doesn't mean it's the end of the relationship. For this reason, she might get angry at you, but she'll cool down quickly, knowing that these kinds of things naturally happen in any relationship. If she's busy with something else on her mind, her anger levels can go in one of two directions. The first direction is where she becomes increasingly angered with you, and this is simply due to her own frustration of being caught up in a situation that she feels uncomfortable being in. When the words start to fly, she might even utter a couple of slurs that make you feel like she truly doesn't care about the relationship anymore, and you'd be right. If she's busy with someone on the side, you can be sure that she truly doesn't care about the relationship anymore. The other way the anger can go is when she simply doesn't become angry anymore. In fact, she might be leaving everything and simply just doesn't care about whatever it is you're doing. In essence, she's not willing to allow you to provoke any kind of emotions from her, which tends to make it extremely hard to know what she's feeling. Once again, men tend to dip into mediocrity once this happens, and they'll try everything within their power to make things better. But you're just allowing her to lose even more respect for you as this goes on. Our advice for this would be to match her level of energy. If she doesn't care and if she doesn't become angry, simply let it be. You need to always remain calm in these situations, as this reduces the amount of ammunition you give her when she wants to walk away. Number 3, she provokes you. Another thing to understand about relationships is that two people who are in love and have feelings for one another will have absolutely no intention of provoking the other person. However, when you don't care anymore, you're seeking a way out, and this is when things become a little more tricky or complicated. You see, one of her main goals and natural desires is to be with the person she deems fittest for a solid relationship, and who will most likely be able to provide and care for her. She doesn't care about anything else, and women are passive-aggressive beings who would not want to disturb anything or give someone a way of saying that it was her fault. Whilst she is seeking a way out of the relationship, one of the things she might consider doing is provoking you as much as she can. In fact, she's hoping that you become so frustrated that you eventually pull the trigger and leave her to pursue this new person she believes is better than you. The problem is that many men don't understand this, and instead of seeing it for what it is, they match the levels of anger or fall directly into her trap, which tends to give her more reason to simply walk away. So you'll notice that she purposely does things to frustrate you, and she wants you to become this monster. The best thing to do is, once again, to follow the ancient Stoics, who clearly told us that you should not react to anything. In fact, you should be the one dumping her and walking away, and this'll give you the upper hand, and she'll once again be left with shame. But don't get carried away and create fireworks. You see, things can easily end when one person simply just chooses to walk away. Number 4, she rejects your advances. Whilst women are notorious for not allowing men to have their way once the relationship is set, they'll still have the same needs, and since you're the partner and they love you, they want to share this with you. So, in a normal relationship, she might reject your advances, but it'll be reasonable. However, if she's seeing someone on the side, she doesn't care about you anymore. In fact, ask any woman who's cheating what they think of their partner, and many of them will tell you just how disgusted they are with the person. One of the ways to see if she's cheating is to monitor how she reacts to your advances over a specific period. If she's always rejecting you and she doesn't seem like she's fulfilling her own needs, you can be sure that there's something or someone else doing your work for you. You need to understand that women might be drawn to lust, but when it comes to cheating, they often cheat with their emotions. And when she has emotionally cut you off, you have ultimately lost. If you notice her rejecting your advances, the last thing you should do is react to it. You see, the moment you do react to it, you've lost. It's best to simply use the ancient methods of stoicism like meditation and just ignore it. Number 5. Her curiosity about you dwindles. One of the most important things that bond relationships like glue is the fact that two people communicate about their lives since the other person is genuinely curious about what's going on. In fact, A caring woman will always ask you about your day and try to be as involved in your life as she possibly can. But when she has someone on the side, she's more curious about what he's up to than she is about what you're doing. In fact, she simply doesn't care how your day was. Now, this can be one of the harder things to notice, and you need to have a baseline. But if you've been dating for quite a while, you should immediately notice this massive change in her behavior and way of communication as well. Simply put, she doesn't want to know how your day went, and she's trying to avoid diving into this type of conversation with you as well. It's best to not talk when people don't want to listen, and you should use this silence to see how she reacts. But if her curiosity about your life changes, she doesn't care anymore. Number 6, she accuses you. One of the most common signs that most people would attest to is that people are like a mirror, and they often reflect onto others what they are guilty of themselves. This is precisely what happens in relationships when she cheats on you. She will often be the one accusing you of not being loyal. What she's looking for is for you to say things like you don't have any feelings for her or to say that you're cheating. The main reason she does this is simply to justify her own actions, especially when she realizes that she is in the wrong. Now, not every woman accusing you of cheating is cheating herself, and some of them just act out of insecurity. But when you know that you've done nothing wrong, and this sign is exacerbated by some of the other signs we've mentioned, you can be pretty sure she already has someone on the side. Number 7, she tries to avoid doing things with you. Whilst two people living under the same roof can be quite complicated, many situations will run into this same problem when someone is cheating. If you invite her out with your friends or to go on holiday, she will try her best not to do things with you, and this is due to shame, especially if the fight about cheating has not yet been brought up. In fact, her being avoidant of you and not wanting to do things with you is one of the first things that will happen when it comes to the relationship ending. You should use this as one of the guideline signs and try to find some of the other signs that will compound on one another to give you an even better idea of whether or not she's actually cheating on you. Number 8, she talks about you to her friends, complaining. Women are notorious for complaining all the time, and whilst this is not true for every woman, it's something that occasionally happens. However, the complaints are often about some of the smaller things in life, like you not giving her enough attention. However, if she doesn't want to be in a relationship with you anymore, she'll need to prepare the way for this to happen. You see, she cannot simply walk out on the relationship and allow rumors of herself cheating when you've done nothing wrong to hit the streets. This will ruin her image. So, she'll be talking to her friends about all the things you're doing wrong and try to tell them that she's seeking to move on with someone else. She's simply just looking for some justification for her actions, and since her friends will choose her side, they'll be the ones doing so. This is a powerful sign that the relationship is over, at least from her side, and you'll need to walk away. Now, keep in mind that every person is different, and this is why baselines are so important. This should be used as a guide and not conclusive evidence of cheating. But to prevent any cheating or infidelity, we would recommend that you look at some of the following videos on our channel to help prevent this from ever happening.